Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the gentle yoga practice. This week we're working with the theme of vulnerability. And this is really important for me because it reminds me to let go of control and just accept what is and be there with that. And this applies both on the mat and off. So I'm going to go ahead and take us through a centering, and then I'm going to take us through the theme with inspirational quotes of vulnerability, and then I'm going to weave that into this gentle yoga practice. And I do these weekly, so if this is something that's resonating with you, please subscribe. Also, if you have an idea for a theme, put it in the comments. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Notice how you're sitting. Can you get your spine really lifted? Maybe you need to sit up on a block or a blanket, or maybe have your feet out in order to find that. But just find what that is for you and lift up out of that. So engage in all of those muscles you're sitting on. We call that mula bandha, or root lock. You're just engaging in the pelvic floor. And then right above that, below the belly button, draw in and up. And you get this energy of flying upward. It's called Uddiyana Bandha, and that's what it means, flying upward. At the top of the spine now, draw the chin down. And you get a sense of sealing in these energies of the bandhas. We call that Jalandhara Bandha, or chin lock. And now with the bandhas engaged, release the hands and start to focus on your breath. So just visualize how the rib cage expands as you inhale. And then as you exhale, the rib cage relaxes and draws closer together. As you inhale, the rib cage expands. And then as you exhale, it relaxes and comes closer together. One more. Inhale, feel that expansiveness. And then exhale, feel how it relaxes. Take the hands together in prayer position by your heart, and we'll vibrate together with the mantra Om. Inhale. Om. To step onto your mat with an open heart is to embrace the beauty of vulnerability, where challenge meets grace and effort meets ease. Yoga is not about performing the perfect pose, but about having the courage to be present with yourself as you are in this moment. What happens when people open their hearts? They get better. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Vulnerability. So let's go through this gentle practice and notice those areas where we might be feeling a bit vulnerable, and what can we do to honor that? Or maybe what can we do to celebrate that? So just, again, sitting up really tall, let's just take a moment to reach the arms up. Inhale. And lift up as high as you can. And then exhale, let the arms come down. Let's do that again. Big breath in. Inhale, reach. You can even elevate the shoulders. In other words, let them lift, but then roll them away from your ears as you reach back down again. We'll do one more, just like that. Inhale, feel full length here. Reach up, elevate the shoulders, roll them away from your ears, and then exhale, take the hands down. So on this next one, we're gonna reach up, and then we're gonna side bend. So reach up as high as you can. Exhale as you reach over to the right. Now the shoulders can be elevated, but moving away from your ears. Reach, feel this side stretch, and then inhale, come up. We'll go to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side bend to the left. And you can even let that left ear drop and just reach through that whole right side. And then inhale, rise up. Let's do it again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, side bend. This time, let your right hand come down and just take your gaze down, draw your chin down, and reach with this left arm, feeling that energy through the pinky fingers, or finger. And then inhale here, start to turn your head, so you're turning straight ahead, and then inhale, maybe you take your gaze up, but just take it to a place where it feels good in your body. Inhale, rise up. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, reach. exhale, side bend over to the left. Just keep reaching, feel that. And then take the left hand down. I'm pulling that left shoulder away from my left ear, reaching through that right side, through the pinky finger, and then all the way down through that right knee. And then look down for a moment, surrendering down. And then slowly start to turn the head. Inhale, just slowly straight ahead. And then exhale, maybe upward. Do what feels good in your body. And then inhale, rise. Now we're going to take it into a twist. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, start to turn from the rib cage. So I'm turning those left ribs to the right. I'm taking my left hand down, maybe to the knee. Maybe your right hand is behind you. Keep turning from your ribs. Inhale, lift up, exhale, turning the left ribs to the right. Now the right shoulder goes back. Maybe your gaze goes back. And then inhale, reach up again. Let's go the other way. Lifting, reaching, exhale. Turning the right ribs to the left. And I'm using the leverage of this right hand on my right knee to help the rib cage to turn. Inhale, notice how the breath takes you around. Exhale, the right ribs turn. Notice how you can just think about how good this is for your spine. Inhale, exhale, this rotation. And exhale, take the hands down by the sides. Let's go ahead and move the spine in a different way as we come to all fours. We're going to start to come into cat-cow, where we begin to flex and extend the spine. So exhale, now we're really rounding the spine, right? We're just flexing the spine, but we're supporting it by pulling the belly in. And then inhale, we start to come forward. And now we extend the spine. We're working the back muscles. We're opening the front of the shoulders and the chest. And then exhale, round the spine, pull the belly way in and up, moving with breath. And then inhale. The whole time you're just noticing what's going on in your body today. And one more to round the spine. Let's hold this rounded position for a moment as we open the knees. Now, as we come into Adho Mukha Virasana, or child's pose, visualize how your butt is going down towards your heels. You're hinging in the hips, and reach the arms forward. And then surrender here. Breathe. Inhale, breathe into your back body. Exhale, release a little bit more. Notice where your breath goes. Inhale. Exhale, surrender a little bit more. One more big breath in, moving with breath. Let's go ahead and walk the hands over to the left, reaching, breathing. Inhale. Maybe you're feeling a nice stretch on that right side body from the pinky finger on the right side to the right hip. As you breathe, breathe into the area of the ribs, the back ribs. Breathe. Inhale, rise up. Let's go to the other side. Gentle. Inhale. Breathe into this whole left side. Exhale and let it surrender. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. Let the breath help you melt into it. And then inhale. We're going to rise up and we're going to come to all fours. This time, I'm going to use the blocks. I always practice with a set of blocks, and I use a little towel, but a yoga belt or some sort of strap works great. And it's not necessary. They just assist me in getting a little bit more height, and I like that. So let's go ahead and round the spine here. And we're going to take this now into downward facing dog. So exhale, we're rounding the spine and we're going into down dog. So you could go wide if you needed to. Don't worry too much if your heels are lifted, right? Just see if you can maybe bend and straighten the legs a couple times. But as you do that, try to get your chest, when you bend the knees, try to get your chest closer to your legs. And then straighten. You can do this as many times as feels good in your body. Just notice what's going on. Now we're going to slowly make our way up to the front. So you could just slowly walk up. You can keep your feet wide. They don't have to be hip width. They could be wider. And just see if you can just hang for a moment. If your knees are a little bent, that's okay. Gently try to release the neck. And then we're going to slowly roll up through the spine. So visualize your spine as we do this. You could soften the knees
And visualize one vertebra at a time. So pull the belly in, and we're slowly rounding up. Pull the belly in, stacking one vertebra at a time. You feel the shoulders fall into place, and then the head arrives. And now we're going to step into Tadasana, or mountain pose. So mountain pose, you'll have your feet hip width, and you just start to notice, how are you standing? Do you have a tendency to kind of come into an anterior tilt where your butt is sticking out? Or maybe you tend to relax in a posterior tilt. So just notice, find neutral. And a good way to measure that is trying to get your pubic bone and your belly button on the same plane as well as the hips. And then once you've established that, notice there's energy in the legs, and you can come and stand for a moment and pause, mountain pose. And as we come into our next pose, which is going to be Trikonasana, we're going to maintain the mountain pose as our foundation. So we go ahead and step out. You're welcome to, if you feel unsteady, to use a wall. And you can actually lean back into it if you need it. It's there. So we're going to turn the left foot in and the right foot out, and feel that in the hips. And then from here, you're welcome to lean into the wall if you need to, but you don't have to. Start to come into the pose. You could take your hand on your shin. You could be using a block here as well. And then from here, the wall is nice because it allows you, if you want to lean back and really open. So now you feel this twist and this length. So you're turning the right ribs and you're reaching, and maybe you can come off. Maybe you feel your legs engage and you come off, and then inhale, rise up. And we'll go to the other side. So turn the right foot in, the left foot out. Maybe you need to lean back at this point, maybe not. Exhale, coming into the pose. But it does feel really nice to lean back a bit and see where you can take that. And you're turning the left ribs, reaching up, and then maybe you can come off, gazing up. Feel this nice side stretch, and then inhale, rise up. And then let's go ahead and come back to the top of the mat. And we'll come into Samasthiti now, just standing still and straight. We're in Tadasana, but the hands are together, and just feel that strength of the stance. As we're going to come into Uttanasana, forward bend. So inhale here, reach the arms up. Exhale, as you come forward, really focus on that neutral pelvis. I want you to really make sure you're not tucking your tail under here. So we're not rounding anymore, we're lengthening, and we're using the muscles of the low back to extend the spine. If you needed to, you could have your hands on the blocks, or perhaps you were pretty high here, or maybe even here, to maintain that. Once you found where you were, then we're going to fold in. So if you can, if it's accessible, grab the backs of your legs, keeping the spine long. Just allow your body to fold in wherever you are. You could even be here and just round the upper body. So wherever you are, draw the chin down for a moment and just breathe. Try to straighten your legs, even if your butt is back, that's okay. And then inhale, lengthen. We're going to go ahead and take it back down. So let's step back to downward facing dog, and just notice, how does down dog feel now? Hopefully you have a little bit more length. Reaching, lengthening, breathing. And now we're going to go ahead and come down to the knees. And we're going to work our way into an upward facing dog. So from here, just let your body come forward. Take your tail under. You could keep your knees on the floor, but try to roll the shoulders open, lift the sternum. If you're feeling low back pressure, just take it back to more of this kind of pose, a cat-cow position. But if you get your tail under and everything's feeling good, you might be able to lift the knees off and lift the sternum. Try not to lead with the head, just with the sternum. You can always keep your knees down. And then let's come back to child's pose for a moment. You could use the blocks. That's totally optional. Reach, feel the breath in your back. And we'll start to rise. And now we'll make our way down to seated.
So just coming around. Let's take the legs out in front. And we'll just come to a nice glute stretch here. So extend your legs for a moment and try and sit up. And if that's hard, you could bend your knees or sit up on a blanket or a block. And then from here, we're gonna pull the right knee in and get a nice stretch here. Just pulling that knee in. And if your spine is curled back here, that's okay. That's okay with this one, because we're trying to just work on the hip flexion here. We're pulling back. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and take the foot across and try and bend this left knee. And then from here, try to sit up. If you find you're curled back, that's okay. Just work on sitting up and opening that knee out as best you can. And breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Notice where can you send this breath. And then inhale here. We'll go to the other side. Let the leg come out. So now we're bending the left leg, pulling the knee in. You can curl your spine back. That's okay. Just notice what's going on there. And then we're going to take the leg across and we're going to bend the right knee. And notice, are you curled back? Try to sit up and open the knee. Just do the best you can here. Breathe. Inhale and try to open the knee. Exhale. And then from here, we're going to take the legs down and we're going to come into a very surrendered forward bend. So feel free to use a block here. Or two. You can start with bent knees if that helps you to get the spine lengthened. And then we're just going to kind of hang out here. Breathe. Inhale. Maybe you find you can go deeper. Maybe you find you can grab the feet or you have your hands on the floor. Just breathe. Try to straighten your legs though and make sure your low spine is extended here. And then inhale, lengthen. And rise up. Now we're going to take this down to the floor. So take a breath in and exhale. Start to curl the spine back. So pull the belly way in, pull way in. You could use your hands if you needed to. Start to curl, come all the way down. And once you're here, let's go ahead and bend the knees. And we'll come into an articulating bridge, which is nice on the spine. So start to curl, feel the muscles engage under the butt as you lift up. Make sure your neck is long, it's not back, it's not forward. Reach your arms and slowly start to curl the spine down, belly in, curling. Feels good. It's really nice to be good to your spine and let the hands come down. Let's do that one more time. Curl and come up and lift and reach and curl the spine to come down, tucking the tail under. And let's leave the arms for a moment. Take your feet together and let your legs go out. Notice, are you arching or can you pull the ribs in? And don't tuck under either. So you went nice neutral spine here, pulling the ribs in. If you're in a little bit of a back bend, that's okay. But maybe you want to have your arms out to the side. So do what feels good in your body. Breathing. And you can stay here as long as you'd like. But I'm gonna go ahead and take us into a twist. So let's lift the hips up, shift them to the left, let the knees come up, and then take the knees over to the right. Now turning from the rib cage, I'm turning the right ribs to the left, and then the shoulder comes down, and then the head maybe wants to go to the left. And I'm gently pulling, or just a little bit of weight on that left knee. Feels nice in the spine. And then inhale, coming back again. Let's lift the hips up, shift them to the right. Let the knees come up. Take the knees over to the left. Roll that left shoulder open. Taking the left ribs to the right. The shoulder comes down. Maybe I change that gaze. And then inhale, let everything come back. Just kind of even yourself out. Do a nice happy baby. You can rock around and just letting everything relax and let go as best you can as we release into Shavasana. And just let the Shavasana take over and give up any control on your body. Just surrender to that vulnerability and be that. And you can stay here as long as you like and pause the video. But I'm going to go ahead and take us out. So just become aware of your breath. You can start moving fingers and toes. And as you're ready, bending the knees and slowly making your way over to your side as you pull the knees up and pause there in a fetal position. And then very easily coming up and making your way to Sukhasana, or a steady, happy seat. And just notice the effects of this practice on your body, on your mind, letting go of control and accepting your vulnerability and sharing that and exploring that in everything you do. Namaste.